How you doing? There you go. You know this scenario. Welcome to CDR here at YRX, the Night of Ideas and Tracks in the Making. How many of you submitted a track tonight? Cool, loads of you. Wicked. Okay, that's really good. So what we usually do is, Ollie plays the tracks or Andrew, and we usually display them. So after we've done this, we'll play the tracks, and you'll know whose track it is after we've gone through the session. I'm really happy to have these two human beings here today because A, I'm a big fan, and also it's a kind of an extension of something that we do here is getting artists, music producers to have conversations about what drives us and what makes us happy and how we strive in terms of our technique, whether it's production, DJing, sound design. So I'm going to hand it over to Shy One, who's in conversation with Ikonika.
Thank you, Tony. Good evening, everyone. As Tony already said, my name's Shy One. I'm a DJ producer from London town. Thank you. And tonight I'll be in conversation with one of my favourite producers and DJs. I don't want to gas her up too much. She goes by the name of Ikonika. And this is, by the way, April's session of CDR, in case you didn't know. But a round of applause for Ikonika, please. Of course, I know everyone in here is very passionate about, if they're not already involved in music production or very interested and keen. So I'm going to be asking as many questions as I can fit in the 45 minutes to an hour that hopefully you want to know as well about kind of Ikonika's approach to... Wait, how would you like me to address you today?
Yeah, Ikonika's fine. I should really get used to it.
All the syllables, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
It's all good. Yeah, so I'm basically going to be asking, I'm genuinely interested as well as I still struggle with accepting the term producer just because I feel like I don't know enough to. So I'm genuinely going to be asking questions as a beat maker, as a fan, as a listener, as a DJ to learn a bit more about her process, her approach, kind of setup she uses. And maybe some questions that you might think are a bit basic, but not everyone in here has the same experience and skill set and knowledge, and not everyone studied this, So, to kick it off, I would love for you to kind of intro us to your studio space. You've got a little home studio, right?
I do, yeah. I'm in a flat and I've got 2 bedrooms, and the spare bedroom is the studio. Before that, I was living in my mum's house, and I built a kind of detached annex in the back of the garden, which I kind of miss actually. But yeah, so the studio right now has my decks, my CDJs, has my... Do you want me to list stuff?
I feel like run us through... Jeez.
Yeah, I'm trying to move.
Should I move?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, run us through your your basic setup, your hardware and the DAW that you use.
Sure. So I use Ableton. I'm on the latest one, Ableton 10. I actually switched from Logic maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago. And before that, I was on Fruity Loops 4, and then it changed to FL, so FL6, and then Logic 8, and I had Logic 8 for ages, and I was very happy with Logic 8 until my iMac broke one day, and I couldn't be asked to buy Logic X, and I was given Ableton. So I just use it, and yeah, I really like it because I work a lot with audio, and I did this in Logic as well because I use quite a few bits of hardware, mainly synths, old synths from the 80s, and I'm really into little guitar pedals and some drum machines. So for me to just edit in audio, Ableton is great for me because I can warp stuff. I don't have to rely on MIDI. Everything's there. I can just chop everything up how I like it. Get rid of stuff easily. So yeah, so my DAW is Ableton.
What synths have you got? Do you want to list them?
So I've got a Moog Little Fatty. That was the first thing I ever bought when I started making money on music. Yeah, I've still got that. I just love it because it's quite basic, and I can kind of get any sound, like any familiar sound from it, and it's easy and it's good. So that's not a really old synth, but it's like Moog is whatever. Yeah, cool. I got a Yamaha DX7 Mark 1, which is apparently Hot Chocolate's old one. So,
Damn. Where did you acquire it?
just the eBay. It arrived in a blanket. So yeah, that's my DX7. And I have a Korg Poly 61, which doesn't have any MIDI. And I love it for that. I got a Korg Poly 800, which I think is becoming my favourite synth. It's like this little entry-level piece of shit. It's like really plasticky and really light. Like it was supposed to be like this portable thing that you wear, like a guitar. But yeah, the sounds from it are just amazing, and like I used that a lot for my last album. What else is there? I think that's it. Yeah, I tend to like buy synths, and then when I'm done with them, if I don't like them anymore, I'll just sell them. So
those are the synths that you currently have, like that you own.
Yeah.
But as we and I'll go on to this next, kind of go through some of your discography. I'm guessing there are synths that you've used on there that you no longer have.
Sure.
Okay, cool. What about drum machines?
I have got. Oh, I do have another synth. It's like this little Yamaha sound module. It's about this big. It's just got like, you can't do anything with the sounds. It's just presets. You have to just plug in your MIDI controller into it. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, I want to say EMI something or EMT. But yeah, that's like a lovely little module. But drum machines, I've only got right now just a Roland 707 and just a little Korg Volca thing that I got for like my birthday a few years ago. A little kind of cute little fake 808 thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
boutique.
the Volca little thing.
I'm not thinking. I'm not
It's
sure.
just the drum machine one. It's just cute. It's nice.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah. And then you said you got some guitar pedals as well.
Yeah, I've just got just like the standard Boss like reverb one and delay. I actually use them a lot when I'm mixing at home, when I'm DJing for myself, because I use a Zone 92. I know a lot of people hate that, big stuff, sorry, apologies. But I like running those guitar effects through the sends.
To pretend it's a Pioneer.
To pretend it's a Pioneer, because I don't have a Pioneer. But yeah, I use them. I like using a delay with the 707 sometimes, and just like having it on my outboard mixer. Yeah, just using the sends really, not like plugging them straight into the synths, but having it available so that everything plugged in can use the effects.
So like all the gear that you just mentioned, everything's kind of good to go in your space.
No. The synths would be good to go, but like the 707, because I only kind of bring that out like, I don't know, a couple of times in a year. But saying that, like my second album, Aerotropolis, just had the 707s running through that. But yeah, I don't want to part with that because it's nice to have.
Yeah. I feel like you would want that later on down the line. Maybe you should have for a couple months. You're not spending more of your time to buy it back.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you wouldn't mind now, it'd be cool to start from the beginning and kind of that's where you're at right now with your setup. But it'd be interesting to hear like someone who very recently, obviously ahead of today. I've gone back through and listened to your releases kind of from the beginning, hearing like your progression. Like, have you always been into hardware, or is that something you eased into starting with like your first EP?
So when I made my first album, that a lot of it was made on Fruity Loops and Logic 8, and I was still very new to music production. So a lot of it was MIDI based and sample based, and I don't know, it was just computer music, and yeah, I mean, I had the Moog as well a little bit, but I wasn't really using it that much. So yeah, I would say the first album was just purely just straight out of a laptop, just some any old Toshiba laptop, just making tunes on that all the time.
What kind of plugins are you using? I feel like the sound.
Nothing.
It sounds like a lot of the same sounds. Like
Nothing. It was mostly sample based and whatever was in the box. I'm a big fan of in the box stuff. Just because I have like hardware stuff, it's whatever. But yeah, like even with Ableton now, like I'll just use the standard reverb and the delay. The only third party plugins I do like are the Sound Toys ones, or like Decapitator and Echo Boy and Crystallizer. Yeah, those are really nice. And I only really bought that because it was on sale. So yeah, I would recommend that. Just buy plugins when they're on sale.
Yeah, Sound Toys is sick. Echo Boy filter free.
Yeah.
I think I had the crack to it.
Sure.
It's not worth it. It's always worth copying it, man. It's like,
Yeah.
So you kind of moved from like working in the box, like with the first album. Like how did you get into hardware? I'm only now getting a little bit more curious about hardware, doing a little bit of research, playing on it when I get the access to, and that's from me going back and getting into more like early house music, watching documentaries on like certain genres you get into, you kind of have to, you realise you've got to start from the beginning and go back to the old hardware. What was it?
So
piqued your curiosity?
So after I think around the time of my first album, I was very naive when it came to like electronic music. It wasn't what I was listening to really growing up. I was listening to like kind of American club music, just like R&B and hip hop, that kind of stuff. Maybe a bit of dancehall, house and garage, but I wasn't really listening to like anything like I didn't know anything about techno. I didn't know anything about Chicago house or anything like that. So like it was really funny because people used to compare my music to like early Warp records, and like I would just be like, just don't know what that is. Sorry. So from that I started kind of I guess learning and retracing my steps. Like around 2010 I was getting really into like juke and footwork, and I wanted to see where that music came from. So I ended up buying like loads of old Dance Mania records and just trying to understand the genre a bit better by retracing steps and kind of seeing where it came from. Like it came from Chicago house, and then just learning basically and just getting myself up to speed really, because why not?
Yeah, I suppose it's like you want to figure out the workings of it, innit? Like, and emulate it, I suppose, and then apply it to modern day stuff. But
also, like, I think when you hear Aerotropolis and then you compare it to Contact Love, the first album, Aerotropolis kind of took this nostalgic kind of route, and that was me kind of being able to now afford these synths that I recognize from like tunes maybe from my childhood, like like freestyle house tunes and loads of pop songs and loads of Disney songs, and me being like, oh, I want a 707. Like it came from the DX7. I want that. So I started buying all those synths just so I can recreate those like old tunes that I loved.
It's quite funny, you came full circle, so it sounds like from just making I suppose like consciously Aerotropolis was like a nostalgic vibe and revisiting this, but Contact Love I always get the
I do it
I
sometimes.
say
as
extra
well.
words and stuff. Contact, love, want, need, have, love. Funny enough, so it sounds like you weren't consciously emulating like these past
I
sounds,
mean-
but the comparisons led you to discover.
Like I said to myself, what if I could get into a time machine now and be Ikonika like back then? Like what would I produce? And that's what Aerotropolis kind of was
Yeah,
intended to be.
and that's when you first got the 707.
And that's when I first got the 707, yeah.
Okay, so what synths out of the ones that you listed and maybe ones you didn't did you use on Aerotropolis?
I actually borrowed a lot of stuff from one of my mates, Bok. He lent me his Juno 106 and his Casio RZ1, and his drum tracks. Yeah, like all these, like he just like, I don't know why he lent me all these things. Like, I think I lent him my Moog, and then he needed it for longer, so he was like, "I'll just take something else." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I just made Aerotropolis with all his stuff, basically.
Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's saved a lot of P, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, I did have a lot of the Arturia plugins, like of the classic synths, like the Mini Moog and the Jupiter 6 or whatever, and the Prophet. So I was using those software synths as well. So it wasn't all hardware.
That's interesting. What, on any particular like bases or is it more?
I mean, I would just happily just go through presets and just play, like find something I can run with and kind of. I like to do this thing with synths where I like to feel the rhythm of the synth or the preset and try and suss it a little bit and spend some time with it. And I would add more effects to it just to kind of hide that it's like a preset, or I'll just adjust it a little bit, but I'm not too fussed about
Written rules and that.
Yeah, I really don't care. Like I can't. I just like people like, oh, you can't use the same synth on another track. I'm like, well, why not?
If it bangs, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always constantly saving sounds and saving settings of plugins. Because to me, you're trying to like create your own sound, and surely this is your own sound, so why would you not save it?
Yeah, it's true. It makes sense. I mean, perfect segue into you recently created a splice pack.
Sure.
I've now jumped right up to present day for the first album, but it's like the journey and it's not straightforward. So creating a splice pack, is that something were you interested in? Like how did that even come about?
Someone from their team just emailed me and they were like, we want to know what an Ikonika splice pack would sound like. And I've never done anything like that, and I've also never used like those kind of like buy-in sample kind of packages, like, or loops even. Like I've never like messed around with loops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was all up for it. And it was actually nice to just go through all my sounds and kind of actually like properly save them with their crazy file, the way they kind of categorize. Like you have to have the key, what is it? Is it a one shot? Is it a snare? So it was nice to it's really nice to have my own library, all like mapped out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so a lot of it is, some of it is stuff from older tunes. I think I was just on my Instagram story and I was just like, what does everybody want? And like people would be like, oh yeah, I want the drums and not actual gameplay, or shovel or whatever tracks they liked. So yeah, I just included those and just made some loops on my Moog and my DX7 mostly, and just loads of bits and pieces. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. I use them. So
Was it quite difficult to create as someone who hadn't even come from using those kind of packs?
no, it was really easy. It was really nice. Yeah.
So did you? Because I had to listen through some of them. You've got like arps, you've got like loops. I love the sad synth loop. That's my favorite.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know which one it is.
I don't know which one it is, sorry.
There's like over 120
Yeah, there's loads.
different sounds. You should go and get the pack.
Sure.
If you want that Ikonika sound.
Sure.
Hyperdynamic aside.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I mean, yeah, I mean, so, like, you know, they've obviously given me like a Splice membership. So, you know, I'm now actively using their samples. And also, you know, I've been using them and I'm like, you know, why haven't I been using these? Like, all these things like they're all already there, waiting to be downloaded.
So much easier, right?
Yeah, so like my staple 808 now is the Lex Luger 808 from his Splice pack. So, yeah, you know.
So did you, well, I was curious, like, you mentioned like you use loop pedals, and I know you have other like bits of hardware.
Little
guitar pedals.
Yeah.
In some of your Splice sounds, have you like, do they have wet effects on them as well?
Yeah, they're processed, yeah.
So that, can you kind of take us through maybe if you can remember one of the sounds, like the different, like, did you layer a few kicks or like something that will seemingly be a really simple one shot of sound, but actually it went through these different processes to get there?
I mean, I think the stuff that's really original for my Splice pack are the little kind of transition sounds, where I would sample something like I sampled this game called Dark Souls quite a lot, and just literally just recording it off my phone in my voice memo, and then, you know, that'll come automatically in your iTunes or your notes or whatever, and then I'll just add just a shitload of reverb on it or whatever, or reverse it. Like, you know, I use Chun-Li from Street Fighter dying in reverse quite a lot as my transitions. Yeah, and just loads of bits and pieces from, you know, yeah, games and just weird sounds from TV or outside spaces. Like I've sampled the jungle in Malaysia just off my phone, just whatever, which is a good tool to have.
So you do, whenever you record like field recordings like that, you just use your phone straight
Just
up,
use
no
phone.
Zoom or whatever.
No.
And we've heard that in some of the tracks.
Yeah,
like,
totally. Yeah.
So you hear that, you don't even need the most expensive
I mean, like, you know, if we get time to show this project, this is the Ariana Grande bootleg that I did of Into You, and I literally got that a cappella off YouTube because I wanted to remix this song so badly.
Nice, it's like 192. No.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care because, you know, I really don't like perfect sounding things. Things need to be a little bit rough or, yeah, not the right, you know, I don't care like if it's MP3s or WAVs or whatever.
Yeah, I know you love to go in the red in that.
I love just touch the red a little bit.
Explain that to me, please. I know this isn't production, this is DJing we're talking.
Yeah.
But like, talk to me about the red thing. Because you and Bok like always, I know it's coming to the defense of anyone who wants to play in the red, and Bok like will say like something about it sounds better, and it's like,
Yeah,
what is the?
I mean, especially on something like a Pioneer mixer where I don't know, I kind of like digital distortion. So like if you're just in the channel, maybe not the master so much, but if you go into the red and it still sounds good, like it sounds good. You know, and obviously I'm talking about if you're playing on a good system and the monitors are decent, etc. You know, yeah, but you know, I'm not too fussed, to be honest.
Do you have that like similar approach to anywhere in production, I suppose, where you do things, I suppose, in an unorthodox way, or how it's not meant to be used, but it gets the desired effect? Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why I do this, but I have my synths running on an outboard mixer, like just like a small Mackie Onyx thing, and then that runs into my audio interface. And I really don't know why I do that, but I'm just, you know, it sounds fine to me, but, you know, I should really be running all those synths straight into my audio interface or using the outboard mixer as an interface, but I don't because, I don't know, there's something about me running through different signals and using loads of cables and just, I can always imagine the sound like traveling a tunnel through wires and stuff and just imagine their crazy journey just into the computer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
adding a bit of dust. Yeah.
That's your favourite thing.
I love it. I love the dust. Love a bit of vinyl rip.mp3.
Yeah, no, I do as well. Totally. Yeah. And you just apply a fat limiter on it.
Just really, sit in the red just a bit.
Yeah.
Would you? I feel like you're itching to get into this. I know it's your
Sure.
new baby. It's out now, but under cacao, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to get sued. You can intro this. This is new. It's out. Came out when? What? 2 weeks ago or something?
Yeah, something like that. 2-3 weeks ago. So it came out on a white label.
Sold out.
It's funny because I was told it sold out, but it hasn't sold out yet.
There you go.
And I thought it was sold out, and I actually bought a copy for myself because I wasn't given any. So yeah, good times. Vinyl, great.
I'd advise you to get on it.
So yeah, like I said before, I literally just pinched this. Ariana Grande.
You lot can go and listen to this online. I mean, do you want to talk through any of it?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
because I can see a lot of it's not a lot of MIDI in this project. Is there any?
there's only in the chorus I used just this like Ableton preset. I think I literally just went in here and was like sine bass or sub bass, and it gave me that. So I just used it just for the chorus because I wanted some held notes. In the verse is more kind of just 808s and kick. And I used a plugin called Sub Boom Bass, I think. But I don't actually have it on this laptop, so I bounced it into audio just for this demonstration. So that's just like an 808. And then there's a kick layered with it. The snare I use is just the Young Chop snare, which everyone's familiar with.
Have you used any of your own, any of your splice sounds in it?
Yeah, I mean, the Splice pack came out before, but the Splice pack does have this laser sound and this bubble sound, and also these bells. Actually, these bells are a loop. So shall I attempt to play it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes, and then it pitches down, so it goes.
Did you automate it, or is that?
Yeah, so so for my drums, I use the Machina, the Native Instruments Machina. It's more of a workflow thing because I used to be a drummer, so just being hands on with drums is just easy for me, rather than just clicking stuff in a sequencer.
What about using like a MIDI keyboard?
Yeah, I could use that as well, or just the keyboard on my laptop. But yeah, I like pads, and I just like to feel out the track. So hands on, twist some knobs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that for the automation? Like, I wanted to ask that as well. This is me being a bit selfish and fully asking just because I need to be a bit better with my workflow. I take really ages to make things, and I realise I pretty much stay away from automation just because I hate just the little clicking and all of that. But
we try the sound.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, do you use like machine? Do you assign controls for automation with Ableton?
So yeah, so with these bells, this was done in Machine. So I automated it within Machine, just the pitch. It's coming. So that was done in Machine. So yeah, I do all my drums in Machine usually, and then I bounce them all out, and then edit them more in Ableton. So I would just mess around with like an 8-bar loop and make sure the loops are really good in Machine, and then bounce them all out. And yeah, automation. I guess the vocal. So you can see that I've got like little red dots here where the automation is. Automation view. So I've used it really to kind of, I've used it on a decay and just the dry and the wet, just to create a tail. And I kind of do this when I'm on a Pioneer mixer as well. I use the reverb a lot just to pull out the tune when I'm taking a tune out in the mix. Yeah. and it happens at the end as well. Okay.
Is that decay as well on the what's below it?
What is?
Yeah, what's that?
That is one of the synths. So it happens a little bit, happens good, happens more there.
Do you usually do like a lot of automation in your tracks? Are you someone who like on like an original production, not a remix? Like, is it going to be every single track is going to have like?
I love doing it on like club tracks. If I'm feeling in the mood to make like a techno-ish kind of track, then I'll do something so repetitive. I'll use automation to just fight the fatigue and just have different variations. And yeah, reverb decay is one of my favorite things to automate. Also, a bit crusher, just like the down sampling of something, just so it sounds like it makes it sound like all scrambled.
Like an end of a bar or something.
Yeah, just in a breakdown. What else do I like? Maybe a bit of distortion. Yeah, overdrive.
Yeah, I'm really curious because a lot of like with the Distractions album, especially, and the Library album, I mean, you've got a lot under your belt release-wise, but those two stand out the most when I think of ones with a lot of like textures, and it sounds like you're just doing a lot, like, and shaping the sound a lot. It sounds like a lot went into it, like automation-wise.
Maybe not. I mean, I do love to layer stuff. So, I mean, if I just take this chorus here and loop up and just only play the synths, so let's grab this. So there's a lot going in the low end. Maybe I should talk about the different sounds separately.
Yeah.
So this is just some bells from my DX7. It's a bit of reverb. Just like a mid kind of bass with some chorus. Yeah. I love to use chorus and I love to just have it 100% wet. I might mess around with the modulation, but I don't want to get it too freaky. Like if I do this. So I like to just keep it sometimes there. So around there, it's fine. So that's a little low, a little low mid bass thing with some fuzz. And I'm sure this is a little layer as well. Okay, so this is the chord Poly 61. Again with chorus. Okay, yeah. So without chorus, pretty. Pretty awkward. With the chorus, sounds smoother. And then just this little sub sine wave, just copying everything. That's the weight.
All three of those, obviously the sub basses, but are the other two on mono?
Yeah, I should really do that, but don't worry about that.
That's very comforting to hear. Like, that's good
yeah,
to know.
I mean, I think I used to do that in Logic quite a lot because there was always like this one button that you could just turn to stereo and mono.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine.
Is it just a sub bass? This in mono? Is that?
Oh no, nothing's in mono.
Oh,
Everything's in stereo.
okay.
But I know you're supposed to do that, but yeah. Okay, so what's this one? Okay, this is the DX7 with maybe a shitload of reverb. Yeah. So So without reverb.
Wow.
This is why I love reverb.
Damn, I didn't realize how much you love reverb. Like, I'm starting to figure out, not figuring the sound out.
It just turns anything dull into a completely different instrument for me, and workable. This has no emotion whatsoever, and then and then there's a little arpeggio that kind of comes in and out. I actually don't know why I've got all this stuff, but obviously the delay, that's the dry. Yeah, oh, one thing I do want to say is I always have a tuner on everything now. Like, so if I open a new like MIDI or audio channel, I'll always have the tuner there set as default with the spectrum as well. Just because I'm not classically trained, and I should be just a sample-based producer, but obviously I play keys, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So with something like this, where I'm trying to figure out the key, etc., and just getting maybe a bit flustered, I would just look at. Baby, come light me up, and baby, I'll let you on. I'll just watch the tuner, and I'll be like, okay, that's what I need to play. I never had any music lessons, so this is me just figuring out stuff quickly. So yeah, I will eventually learn to play the piano. But for the time being, this is my way of working out what I need to play. And also, I released so much music that was not tuned, and I don't know how I got away with that. Because I only just started doing this like in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So now I just make sure everything's in tune. Drums, if they register in the tuner, I'll tune them. My 808, it's all tuned. Everything.
It'd be interesting to to know how you feel or how it is kind of cracking on like your workflow. The more like knowledge, this kind of knowledge that you acquire, so you should be tuning things and this and that. Is it having to take more time and think about things and having like these rules and this checklist? Has that changed how you work? Totally.
So this remix took me like a good day to make. If that was like maybe 10 years ago, I would just it wouldn't see the light of day ever. And that would be down to trying different synths, like why doesn't it go together, and now realizing maybe it's not tuned. Just a simple thing like that, like why isn't the sound working? Just have a look at the tuner and see if everything's in tune.
And speaking again of kind of your workflow and getting on with it, obviously having your own sound, having a pack, and your setup. You said that everything's pretty much ready to go. The synths are, right? No, not the synths.
Yeah, the synths are ready to go. I mean,
I wanted to basically how what is it that you have put in place? Like which prep? Like what kind of boring organization stuff did you do in order to have it so that you can open your laptop and just crack on?
I'll totally show you. So let's get out this project.
I feel like this is low-key the trick, like having your stuff, having templates and stuff. A lot of people don't work with templates, and it can save so much time.
Right, okay, so out of that. If I open up Ableton, and this is just on my laptop, so I'll see something different on my iMac, but the worst thing I can ever see when I open up a project is just a blank screen with nothing there. And me trying to find, spending half a day auditioning a kick drum. Why I'm a creative. Why am I trying to find the perfect kick drum? It should be already there waiting for me. So my favorite thing to do when I don't have Wi-Fi on my laptop, so if I'm just on a plane or traveling or can't use the internet or just want to focus on making a template or don't want to make music, this is what I do. I have different drum racks for different sounds, so hits and transitions, kicks, snares, claps, hats, and my lovely Lex Luger 808 with decapitator on, and just some because I like DX7 kind of bells and glockenspiels. Like I'll just have some of that and there's a pad and like a little weird violin sample thing. And what I would do, my aim is to have all of these filled on each of these channels. So I would spend time just like either going like through, so I've got like just a few collection of my favorite sounds in like a big folder. So that's there. And also these like little, it says Ikonika kit. These are in my Dropbox. So if I'm ever at somebody else's studio, it's all, like all my sounds are, my drum sounds at least, my favorite drum sounds are there. And just like some bits from, yes. My favorite thing.
This is Cheng Li dying in reverse. When was the moment that like, did you wake up in the middle of the night like, I need to sample that? When was the moment? Like, why?
So like years and years ago, there was this competition to remix Street Fighter, but I didn't want to do the remix, so I just took all the sounds. I just signed up for it just to get the sound. So, this crow, which you'll hear in Distractions as well. This is the Street Fighter crow. Yeah. There's tons. There's like everyone dying. You win, all that stuff. Japan. And so this is like my Dark Souls stuff. Ikonika.
Is that from game as well?
That's from a track called Not, but yeah, it's from Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls is heavily sampled. What else is that? I think that was like.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Have you slowed that down?
I think it was. It's probably like Lex Luger or Metro Boomin. It's probably something really big. But yeah, I've just like just got like some Metro Boomin samples and just whatever like producer I like. I'll just take their stuff. Some pretty good 808s I was given. But yeah, I don't use it that much. But they're available to me. Just whatever.
But basically templates, like setting up.
So going back to, alright. So these drum racks have just got all my favorite sounds so that I can quickly access. Loads of bits that will kind of that I want to use. There's like little one shots and transitions. I've got like just my favorite kicks so far. Just everything's there. And my little 808 that I love right now. So this was actually out of tune when I loaded it up.
The Lex.
Yeah, so.
Did you find that out by using tuner?
Yeah. Where's all the things gone? Right.
For anyone that doesn't know, how did you know it was out of tune by using tuner? What were you looking for?
Did I change
listening
this?
for?
There we go. So I went into controls and we'll just do 0. I wanted it to land on green, so I just knew it needed to go up and just tried to get it as close as I can. To stay green means go.
That is so good for people who are not classically trained. You have no idea. Yeah, or if you don't trust your ears, sometimes after a while.
You would just be like, 808, boom, make a tune. So yeah, I just use the detuner there. Also, I put the glide on because I like it when it kind of, I don't know if it's going to work. So if you hold a note and like a monophonic synth, you get that glide, which like a lot of drill tracks have as well. So.
Yeah.
And then just the decapitators on here. So if you don't know what decapitator is, it's just like a saturated overdrive. You know, you can do really wild things to it. So offers. I mean, it's pretty tame right now, and you know, I'll just do what. Just
That's wicked. This is the first time I'm seeing the decapitator used. I've had it for years, and I've always just been too scared. You know, the ones where you put it on.
Sure,
Like, why
yeah.
would I want this?
Yeah. So yeah, now you know.
I didn't know how to use it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work with like kicks and yeah. But yeah, I mainly use it just for the 808. Probably because I just watched one YouTube tutorial and they told me to do that. So
How much have you used YouTube tutorials in your journey?
loads. I mean,
Quest for knowledge.
it's great to have the internet and just YouTube and reference like any little question, like even little things like something you. So when I was on Logic, translating to Ableton, like especially shortcuts, I would just go on YouTube and just learn, like, just type in like Ableton tricks and tips and just learn from there. And yeah, just learning the shortcuts. Just, you know, simple things like Command D, Command E.
What does it do?
Command D is duplicate, Command E is like to cut. Just like little simple things like that. Like stuff I used in Logic a lot. I just wanted to know how to do it in Ableton. Yeah, and like every DAW does the same thing more or less. So it's just the translation.
Yeah, this is another thing I don't do nearly enough of, and I realise it saves. Like I only recently learned about. I use Logic, and clicking, like holding Alt was like to.
Oh, it does
to
the
repeat,
right. Oh, right. Oh, okay.
to, like
Yeah,
repeat
yeah.
regions. Before that, I was doing like copy and paste. And just
Yeah.
and it's already that's like shaved off like a tenth of the time. So anyone else who's out there on the long team, it's fully worth sitting down one afternoon and learning all the shortcuts. If you find it a bit frustrating, I think like just finishing tracks, you get distracted, you've got short attention span.
Even use like stickies if you're on a Mac. Just have like stickies on there with like just some shortcuts until you learn them. Yeah.
And whilst you're like showing us, you can kindly kind of like sharing some production tips, giving us a mini little tutorial. For anyone, I suppose, who would want a bit more time and a bit more of that, you're involved in something called Producer Girls, right?
Yeah. Although we've got nothing planned at the moment. So this is run by a producer called Emma, and I help out along with a producer called P-Jam and Dexplicit, who famously produced PAL. Yeah, we go to different cities and teach production on a very beginner level, like, you know, whatever, to girls, women, and we just do that in a day, just to show what you can do and how to make music, like just to show where everything is in Ableton. We've done it in Ableton, we've done it in Fruit Loops. I think we're going to stick with Ableton. So we just kind of just on a really simple thing, just, you know, like what do all these things at the top do? Just really simple and in plain English.
Yeah.
We just teach people, you know, how to make a drum kit. Just even like silly things like what is MIDI, you know, people don't know what that is, so we just teach that. And
that's great because a lot of that stuff is like completely overlooked, and sometimes you get a bit too deep in the game. You're like, I can't. Oh,
yeah.
How do I tell someone I don't know what that means?
And especially if you're on your own as well. So for me as well, like I never really had like anyone to teach me stuff. Yeah, like I'll like later on I'll get to know other producers and DJs and we'll chat. But like starting out, I just like I think I downloaded Fruity Loops and I didn't even like look at it for like a year, or I couldn't even make a sound. Like I didn't know how to do anything. And even when I got Logic, I didn't even know how to like open up a plugin. And I mean, we're so lucky now with like YouTube and just Google, whatever, just.
For real, yeah. Everything's at our fingertips. Anything you want to, like, oh, how do I do this? You can Google it and you'll find either a forum or a video. What's like the, like, it's aimed at girls and women, but how is it brought to their attention? Like, is it directed at certain age groups? How do people get involved and apply?
Well, thankfully, Emma's day job, she's in PR. So she's created this amazing database of people that are interested in production. And then she'll just email them, whatever, just get them to sign up. So yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to have her. Like, it's her kind of vision, and we're just helping her out basically.
That's so cool. But for now, there's nothing planned.
No, not for the time being.
And is it always a different group of people, so you only ever show them the basics?
Exactly. That's all it is. It's just we will just show them the tools, and then everyone brings their laptops in and their headphones, so we all kind of make a tune together, and it's like this, like the same tune, and then we just leave everyone to like do little bits and pieces on their own. But yeah, it's just literally just very beginner based.
Did you have you like kept in contact with any students or?
Yeah, we've got our own little Facebook closed group. So yeah, there's like some people on there have got their own radio shows now and things like that. So yeah, we're very happy with that.
That must be amazing. So you seeing like them progress.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's like you kind of push them off with their training rules. And oh, that's nice. I really hope that you have some. I feel like there's going to be a demand for it. There seems to be so many more women and young girls trying to get involved with production.
Yeah, it's just very relaxed as well. It's just it's just calm. It's cool. So, yeah.
And can we talk about library music?
Sure.
No.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's just because the library album came out last year. So technically that's my 4th album.
Yeah.
And like I didn't make the music specifically for it, but I was approached to hand in tunes that I either tunes that I've forgotten or just didn't fit with like on labels or releases or EPs or whatever. And like maybe some of it's newer as well. Like I had this like vision of like making a few tracks for like the R&B singer Jeremiah. So some of the tracks were for him.
Yeah.
Obviously that didn't work out. And it ended up on the library album. But no, it's a cute little collection of like some like ambient stuff, some distortion, some interesting stuff, weird stuff. I don't know, maybe not weird, maybe weird pop kind of sounding stuff.
Did it kind of like, is that made you a little bit more interested? Do you think you might try and purposely make like library music?
Yeah,
I mean, this is something like somewhere you might go in your career.
Yeah, I mean, EMI, they've approached me again, working with a specific brief, but that's not finalised. So yeah, it is something I want to do. I do want to hear my music in films, on TV adverts. I want, I don't want to just making music was never for me. Making music for the club, it was for just other stuff. And I think, like, if you listen to, each of my albums or whatever, you can see that they're very different. And I don't know if that's a problem. Like, you don't get the same thing with me. Just because I like to experiment a lot with different sounds and different styles and genres. But yeah, I would love those opportunities to come about. Because not everything's for the club or whatever.
Listening to it kind of made sense. Like, I'll be honest, when it first came out, I didn't quite understand what it was. I didn't know that that was the term for like the music production.
Oh yeah, I didn't explain that either. So it's an album of basically just stock music that anyone can license for their films or TV adverts or radio or whatever. So yeah, it's a weird one because it's not like a sync where like an advert will sync your music or whatever. It's a little bit different.
Would you get like? Is it kind of like a PRS thing? So if it's used, you get.
Yeah. So if it gets used, it becomes a sync.
Okay.
So it's basically out there on this like library of like stock music online, and then you can like search for whatever, and if one of my tunes come up and you use it, that's a sync for me.
I mean, I felt like listening to all your different albums, like, which is, you say, quite different, like the sounds kind of, not even evolved, they're just, you're just switching it up with each different one. If anything, it feels like it's leading to this, like, to it's not being like confined to just like club music.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just go through different periods of whatever that I'm feeling, like. So yeah, just to run through, like the first album was very kind of 16-bit BP video game inspired, and then the second album, Aerotropolis, was kind of like there was like freestyle house sounds on there, more kind of house, like Chicago housey type of vibes, and then Distractions was very kind of R&B mixed with kind of this dystopian sci-fi kind of vibe, and then the library album is just a mix of just randomness. But then in between that, there's been club tracks that could be played in a techno set or like a UK bass set. Still a bit uncomfortable saying UK bass. And then there was times where I was involved in a genre to begin with, and then it kind of, I don't want to say that word.
You don't have to say it. Everyone knows the word.
So yeah, just some parts of UK funky, grime, R&B, hip hop, and then then I released like a dancehall record last summer.
Yeah.
So.
True.
And then the year before that, I released something on a label called Don't Be Afraid, which is traditionally a techno and house label. So yeah, it just varies on my mood. And my DJ sets are like that as well. They would, in an ideal DJ set, I would start at like 100 BPM and work my way up to like 160. That's the aim for me. But obviously I don't get enough time to do that. And it's nice being a producer because I can look at my main DJ set and I can see what's missing in terms of BPM, and I'll just make a track to fit in my DJ set.
That's sick.
So yeah,
anything. Literally.
So I can do. Yeah, I feel like I can do anything, which is it's a nice position to be in.
And I think again, kind of what I'm getting at with the like you doing the library album last year, and I think it's pretty well known, and you've mentioned it today, like the influence of video games and television and film. Do you think that's next going to be like a future project or something you hope to do where you incorporate like some sort of like video game or video play and TV or anything else, or make things for that?
Yeah, totally. I'm actually working on a video game remix. I can't talk about that. I don't know why I even mentioned it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I still, although I don't have much time to play video games, it's still very much a part of me and the way I was brought up. I was just that kid that was just hooked to the Mega Drive. So all those sounds, have stuck with me. And obviously now as a producer, those sounds are just normal to me. Like, it's so familiar to me that I thought that was what music was.
Yeah.
Like, like just Streets of Rage, I didn't know anything about techno, and I listened to the soundtrack of that and I was like, what? Like, that was like the first music I was kind of into.
Yeah.
So, it's important to me.
Have you ever recorded any drumming? Like, if you want a drum kit? Because that's where you started before you started making beats, right?
Yeah, I was a drummer in a hardcore and metalcore band. And we're talking about 20 years now, so...
Nah. Rusty.
Yeah, I would be very rusty because, yeah, double bass pedal work is pretty hard. So, yeah, no, I'm not even into, like, guitar-based music that much these days, so, sorry.
Oh, it's cool. So you've got to go and find them early demos. What was your band called, if you don't mind me asking?
No.
Well, I'm sure you can find it if you Google. There'll be some
You
interview.
won't be able to find anything.
I feel like I've heard
You
it.
never will. No,
No?
you haven't.
Is there anything I haven't touched on, anything glaringly obvious or that you are itching to talk about or that people never ask you when it comes to your production or like, your approach?
Not that I can think of. No, sorry.
That's absolutely fine, I apologize. CDR fan, what we saying?
Good.
Do you want me to keep? Do you want me to?
No more questions from anybody else?
Oh,
Back here.
gentleman in the person in the red t-shirt.
Shout it loud.
So you mentioned this stock library. I didn't catch the name. What was it called?
The stock library.
It's literally called the Library Album.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Cool.
Right.
Anyone else? Oh, in the chat.
How do you approach the mix down mastering process?
So I don't master my stuff. I obviously do my own mix downs. I would like my kicks and my subs to be around -10, and then everything else can work around that. So that's just the basic thing. And in my master, I like to have my tracks around, -3, -4, and that's it.
Hello.
Question. So if you sort of touched upon having preset projects opening. So do you end up like finding yourself going back to the same kicks and the same like every time, or do you think that it would maybe be useful? I personally find it useful to go through that whole massive list of kicks and just randomly find something and the whole thing will come from that, rather than getting complacent.
Yeah,
with the same
that definitely works as well. And you know, and you can see in these kits like they're nowhere near finished. You know, there's only like 1.25 octave, and just when I'm bored, I would literally just type in kick or results, and I would go through all of those kicks, and I will, you know, I like that one, and I'll chuck it into the kit. Or you know, if something really stands out for me and I feel inspired instantly, definitely I'll just work on that. Yeah.
When you hear
Sorry, there's
sorry.
just one. This guy.
First just started. I'll come back to the back.
Yeah, like in your music, I hear like a lot of, I guess, economy. Like you do quite a lot with like quite a small number of sounds.
Economy.
Yeah. Like where I
Sure,
think
yeah.
where I would personally be tempted to like throw loads of sounds at an
Oh,
idea.
right, yeah.
Like you, it sounds like you've like selected like quite intensely. So I'm just wondering, like when you're writing, do you go through a lot of sounds and a lot of ideas before you settle on what ends up in the track?
Totally. I like to work. So the worst thing I could ever hear is the metronome, just the. Bloop, bloop. So the first thing I'll do is just get a groove with the hi-hats, find a little groove, or just use something as a placer instead of the metronome. And I like to work on what I call the music, which is just the synths, the melodies. And I would really concentrate on one part and make sure it's cool before I even go to the next sound. And, you know, in Ableton, in the clip view, I might just have like 2 steps of like just whatever variations, maybe like a part 1 and a part 2, part A, part B, whatever. And then I'll go into arrangement and I'll arrange all the music first. And then I'll put the drums on top, and then it's still with the drums, just making sure everything sounds good. And what I like to do as well, once I've got like a good loop going, I'll just leave the room with it playing, just to make sure it sounds good in every room that I walk into. I just have to make sure I'm blinking as well, maybe go get some water, just do something human. Because you could just get fatigued and like everything will probably sound great to you at that moment, and then you come back, or you might come back and it sounds crap or whatever. That's just really important, just to step away from the computer, step away from the monitors, and then maybe I'll see something that needs to be deleted. Like deleting something is like deleting anything up. Like I'm cool with. I'm not too precious about sounds. Because I have that faith that I can make something better, or another like creative inspiration might pop up whenever. So I like to keep that faith. Like I'm not. If something really doesn't work, I'll just save it for another track. Yeah.
Was there someone at the back, Tony?
Yeah. Just do you sidechain at all, and if you do, like, how do you go about that?
So one of my favorite things to do, I don't like to use it in the traditional sense of having maybe like a kick punching through a sub bass. If I have if the hi-hats are very rhythmic, they obviously are, but if they're very like silky and kind of, I don't know, like this, that makes sense. Like my favorite thing to do is to get another sound, maybe a synth or an arpeggio, have some delay on it, and then add a gate, and then use the sidechain in the gate. So I won't show you fully because I feel a bit pressured. But just the sidechain here, I'll switch on and then assign it to like a hi-hat group. So if I've made one hi-hat in this thing, I'll duplicate the channel again and make another hi-hat. I like to have all my sounds in individual channels, and then group them up. So you have that hi-hat group. And then, where did I put the gate? Let me just put it on here. So I'll have the gate, and then I'll have it sidechain, and then I'll select the hi-hat group, and then bring the threshold down to wherever it, like when there's audio in here, you'll see it in like white kind of pyramid kind of shapes, triangle shapes, and then you'll just bring the threshold down to where it touches it, and then maybe I quite like it when there's like a delay before it in the chain. So then that delay doesn't have a tell. It goes with the hi-hats. I don't know if I explained that well. It's hard to do it without sound, but I'm not very confident in showing you that right now.
Did you learn that from a tutorial video, or did you just kind of fiddle?
Yeah, I learned it in Logic actually, just I don't know what gate means, so I just loaded it up. I think it's quite important just to go through, in the box stuff, and just have a basic knowledge of what every single one of these things does. So,
Or at least how it sounds if you don't figure out what it does.
I just think I'm talking in like plain English to like beginners here. You finally made that decision to buy a DAW. You spent like £100, whatever. You spent maybe some more money on monitors. Like, why would you not like explore what's in the box before you get excited and Ikonika said I had to buy Decapitator kind of vibes. So if you wanted a Decapitator, it's right here. It's overdrive. It's saturator. And if you got Ableton 10, it's your drum bus. You can use that as well. So So yeah, that's my little kind of cute little trick when it comes to sidechaining.
Thank you. Anyone else with the red scarf?
I wanted to ask if do you have a lot of saved drafts of projects, or do you tend to finish
I finished them, yeah.
them?
I finished them, and then so I'll label them whatever demo, and then it could be like demo 1, demo 1.2. I'll put them on my phone. I'll listen to them on my headphones, my iPhone headphones, on my Sennheisers, in the car, in my mom's car, in your car, everywhere, in the club. And then, you know, I might notice whatever needs to come back, and then, you know, add more to it. But yeah, I do finish tracks. I need to finish tracks because I need to finish tracks. But like a good way for me to finish tracks is to, I guess it's hard to show in a blank thing, but I would try and get the arrangement. Well, I would loop a whole load of stuff and to like the desired time. And then I'll start like chiseling away at different parts. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah? Exactly, yeah, just to subtract stuff, and yeah. That's my way of finishing tunes, like, you know. Also another good trick I do is I just close my eyes and listen to the tune, and whenever I open my eyes, that means something sounds weird or something needs to change. So if it's like totally relaxing to me and it's like cool, like it's done for me.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Oh. Hey.
When you make tracks, do you think of the ideas in terms of like elements,
I don't. I just literally just. I just.
when you make a techno track, or you make a footwork track, or when you've got an idea, do you have a certain kind of vibe you go for?
You know what? I hate going into a project with an idea because usually it doesn't come out, and something different will come out. But then that will be cool as well. So I don't really like to go into the studio with expectations other than maybe a BPM, or maybe a sound that I found that I like to like work on. But yeah, I don't really think like, oh, today I'm gonna make an ambient track. I just can't do that. If it comes out, it comes out, and I think that's kind of. I don't know, I like to kind of be automatic. So if you give me a synth for the keyboard, I will try and make something out of that. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Sorry.
Thank you. I think that wraps up everyone's questions. And if I'm correct, you've got about an hour left of CDR April session. I know you have your submitted tracks to run through, but Tony, we got a minute?
Yeah.
Do you want me to? I was actually going to play some of my own unreleased stuff. I recently just came back from performing in Paris at Palais de Tokyo as part of the Do Disturb Festival with Victoria Sin, who's lurking somewhere in here, performing artist. And we have a whole bunch of unreleased material that I quite like. And I was just going to play a couple tracks, as Ikonika doesn't have an SD card with us, so we can't do it back to back. That's all blessed. So sorry, there's going to be can we have some background noise whilst I find my USB? Merci. Oh my God, sorry, thank you, Ikonika.
Nice one. Give it up again for Shy One and Ikonika. Really super exciting. Cool. So, as Shy mentioned, yeah, we've got another hour for OpenCDR. If you don't know what OpenCDR is, it's the part of the night where we play tracks that you're working on and developing. And you can compare reverb tails and sounds that are dry, and then you have a 20-second reverb tail like Ikonika does, and then go and change it. And also very important, when's our next session?
Yeah, 16th of May.
Thank you. With who?
Object Blue.
Thank you. Where's that at?
The club that fits in Hackney.
Wonderful. You got that? Yeah? Excellent. So you're on Facebook, CDR HQ, we're on Insta, the usual stuff. And also, more important, please say hello to someone you don't know, because you never know, you might collaborate, right?
Or unlike any of us, if you don't know anyone and feel uncomfortable, we're part of Tony's crew.
Sick. Yeah, put your hands up, CDR crew. So just, you know, nice one, people. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you.